Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert to your own research. Today I'm just going to review some altcoins. I think that the entire altcoin market, for the most part, looks pretty terrible. I looked at all the Binance tickers yesterday or a few days ago, and I didn't really see anything that really looked appealing. One of the ones that looked interesting was Aave, but I'll go more into that later. Anyways, I will review Tone. Tone Coin, as everybody knows, had a lot of recent FUD with their founder being apprehended in France. And since that time, we saw a lot of just really terrible price action. Now, for those that don't know, Ton Coin is like Telegram's coin, and everybody in crypto uses Telegram. So like if you're not in the crypto industry, you might not know that, but like everybody uses Telegram. Like if you're in crypto, you use Telegram. You don't use any other messaging program. I mean, you might use like Discord or whatever, but like Telegram is where you do all your communication. So the idea was pretty easy. It's just that, not just crypto people use Telegram, obviously, like millions of people around the world do as well. And Toncoin was going to be like the easy introduction for all these people into Web3. And that was like the thesis. Lots of big VCs ended up buying like OTC bags of this. I think Pantera and like a lot of other new projects are building on this as well. But what we've seen since the arrest is just like lots of volatility and lots of really negative price action. People are either hedging or, maybe they're de-risking a little bit. I have no idea. Do I think that like Toncoin is going to be like, the future of all these new big crypto projects? I have no idea. Generally speaking, it's best to have like a pretty pessimistic view, in my opinion. But just purely TA, let's just go into it. So what we saw was this kind of key low hold over the course of the last several months. Established in April, this was kind of consolidation area back in April before its final push up from 4 all the way up to 8. And since that time, price has tapped this area several times and now currently looks to be breaking below that level. If it does break this level, then I would look probably towards this like mid threes area, anywhere from like 4 to 350, kind of this area down here seems like the next logical area up. I don't really have any strong views, as I said before. Like I don't have any ton coin myself. Don't really have much ton beta. I was playing a little bit on some of the memes before, but overall just like not really super involved in that ecosystem quite yet. But like, I think there's a lot of good games actually being built on there. That's my understanding. Notcoin did pretty well. Dogs also was launched strongly as well. So there are still some coins that are on ton that are doing pretty well. Those are two recently listing Binance listed projects, but overall don't really have any like strong conviction on the ecosystem itself. With that said, from a TA perspective, I do think that this area is maybe it's at risk of getting lost, this 475 area. And if that breaks, I would probably just look to buy around like the mid threes ish as an entry. Don't really have any super strong opinions though, as I said. You could maybe fib out the entire price action from top to bottom. And I'm sure there's going to be some key fib areas that line up. You can see that the current area is the 0.5 fib. Usually that's a good indication of like strong support. The 0.5 is generally an area you'll want to look at on high time frames. And but to be honest with you, with as much FUD as going on, I would just be patient with this. I would probably not consider buying until like the high threes. That's kind of the area I would look to kind of maybe buy around here, maybe something like this, and then come back up. That's probably where I would look personally if I was being patient. There's nothing wrong with buying a little bit now if you want, but this area has already been tapped. The support area's been tapped a few times. So generally speaking, when you see that, it gets weaker. Link is one that's a little bit sad to me because it accumulated for, this 500-day period all the way down. Link is still critical infrastructure for many top crypto projects, and it's widely used. But even though it accumulated for a year and a half, it went from $6 to 20, and then now it's pretty much retracing the entire move. It's sad to me because it shows that like there's really like a lack of something must be going on in the back end. I don't know, like maybe there's some selling going on or some weird token emissions or something like that. I don't really know, but it just shows that like even top crypto projects like Link are not really having any sort of bid or any sort of meaningful continued momentum. That move up to $20 and now price is all the way back down to 10. I will give Link credit in the sense that it's held up better than other crypto projects. Top to bottom, it's still like, yeah, it's down 55% or whatever currently, 57%. But most other crypto projects are down much larger. So, I will give Link credit in the sense that it did hold up better than some of the other projects, but it does look pretty ugly in the overall midterm. I thought this 200-day EMA, you could see that it acted as resistance the last several times. It got tapped. Tapped April, May, deviated above, and then it broke below. Once again, tapped again in July. I thought it was actually going to make it all the way up again recently to this $13 level and then pull back, but it didn't even have the strength for that. What I would look for Link, it doesn't really look, at any point, it doesn't look bullish. It still has a bearish market structure. You can clearly see lower highs and lower lows. So, low, high, low, high. You can just see lower highs and lower lows across the board. So realistically speaking, there's really no point in calling a trend change quite yet. What you really need, there's a few ways you can play this. Number one, you can either try to knife catch. You can try to buy at the top of the range. And price already kind of got to that point on that big wick down in late July, all the way down to the $8 area. You could try to just buy around that area, like around $8, just blindly hope it holds up. Another thing you can do is you can wait until it officially breaks market structure to the upside. And what I mean by that is create a higher high and higher low. So as I said, you can map out the highs and the lows. You can go, say it goes back up, breaks a higher high, hits a higher low, higher high, higher low. And at that point, you can jump on the train. Once this is like confirmed right here, you're happy just to buy higher on these higher levels and just be patient. That's a better way of doing it if you're thinking more about capital preservation and you're like just not good at holding like underwater positions. That's probably the strategy that you want to take, especially more if you're a trader too. The clear trend right now still is bearish to me. But for now, Link is just, it's not really a buy in my opinion, you can try and continue selling too on the next move up, say it like comes back down to like low 8s and then comes back up to like 10, 11 and then short. That's also a strategy that you can take because, again, market structure still is bearish. But after a move down at 50%, you'll probably want to start looking more for longs at this point. Fetch, this is a coin that I'm in currently as a trade. I fibbed out the entire recent move up, and currently you can see for the first time, in my opinion, you saw this red line, the 200 EMA. This is the first time it's really been truly decently healthy, in my opinion, since maybe this kind of May of 2024. But again, this is kind of like still very choppy price action and still, on the downtrend. Price is still on a downtrend. I still want to make that clear. Like, even though I'm buying, I'm still buying in a bearish market structure, which is pretty dumb. You can clearly see higher highs or lower lows and lower highs, lower lows all across the board for Fetch. But the reason why I bought here is that the 4-hour EMAs finally look healthy for the first time in many months. You can see this consolidation period that we had back in early August. You don't really see that consolidation as much. Sure, you saw a little bit of it here back in July, consolidation to big move up, and then more downside. But to me, this still looked pretty reasonable in terms of some sort of like local bottom. Um, the reason, as I said, for me buying is key fib level around kind of this 109 area around the point 0.5. EMA is all looking pretty good on the 4-hour, and BTC at a relatively interesting area. But this is kind of a very risky bet on my end, just because I am assuming that this is going to break market structure, which is a very big ask or a big assumption. You generally always hear trend is your friend, and the trend is bearish, so I should just be looking for shorts. But instead, because the 4-hour EMAs look the way they did, I did decide to take this trade. And I don't think you can really necessarily consider it being the same thing as in late July. In late July, there was still a big, large disconnect between the 4-hour EMA, the red line, and price. You generally don't want to see that type of large gap. Instead, right here, you can see that the EMAs have flipped cleanly underneath, and although they were underneath before in late July, you can still see that the structure is just much healthier in August currently than it was back then. So again, it's a big bet, it's a big gamble. I am underwater, but here's to me just assuming that a local bottom is getting formed, and I'm going to be selling, definitely selling a lot of it at 150 or whatever. So short term, I'm hopeful that it goes up, but again, you have to recognize that it is still a bearish trend. This is still lower highs, lower lows. Price has gotten fucked overall, and you can see these EMAs on the daily all acting as resistance. So it's really important to zoom out all the time, and it might take a little bit more consolidation, but I am hopeful that price is going to break market structure. But again, I will be cutting this if you see like a high time frame close below like this one, kind of this 107 area. If I see it close below there on the daily, I'm just gonna get out probably. Just call it and take a loss. TRX has been one of the strongest coins the last few, really the last entire stretch. If you look at it, the fact that TRX is actually near all-time highs back in March of 21 is actually incredible. The number of coins that are actually near all-time highs from 2021 is very, very, very few. And TRX was one that actually managed to get up to that point. Short term, it looks pretty ugly, to be honest with you. Price consolidated along this swing high around 14 cents or so, 14.2 or 14.2, I'm sorry. And why did I have, I had this line. It's a weekly close. Okay, that's why. Weekly close, 14.2. You can see that it got tapped right here, broke above, and now looks to be potentially retesting that area. I personally think it looks kind of bearish in the short term. Don't know where I would consider buying. I mean, like crypto native people like who've been in the game for a while always kind of like scoff at TRX, but the honest truth is that it onboarded a lot of regular people onto USDT, and it's actually one of the strongest altcoins overall. So, that being said, I still think that it's probably coming lower in the short term, but the time to scoff at TRX probably at this point just have to accept it. That it is one of the better coins out there. Do believe that it's going to pull back. Don't know how far. If looking for entries, maybe you can do this swing high, this former weekly close at 14.3, 14.2. But again, that's a little bit risky in terms of everything else. But would be patient with TRX. Don't necessarily think it's a must buy here. TIA looks bad. I did a post on this before, but it's really just explaining that run-ups always happen a lot faster than grind, like the slow downtrend. You can see that it took 90 days to accelerate from 2 to 20, so 10x, liquid 10x strong. And then it's taken 146 days to go negative 80% down. And this is very common. What you see is like you'll see these big moves up on the upside, catching momentum. And then onto the downside, you'll see these slow grind downs, slow lower highs, slow lower lows, slow lower highs. And every time to do that is they need to bait new buyers, you know, for more exit liquidity. Like you'll see this all the time. You'll see all these spots where people think, oh, we're so back. And it's quite possible that TIA does have some sort of bullish unlock. I'm not saying that they won't. And they will have a big run up eventually. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know where it's going to be. But eventually this chart will eventually have something insane. It's going to like 2x, 3x. It'll go up to like maybe like $10. But don't delude yourself into thinking that this is like going to be a long-term hold. Investors got it at like 2 cents or something like that. I think that eventually this thing goes like sub dollar for sure. Yeah, I think it's highly unlikely that this thing holds up. You know, it's just not going to happen. With that said, there will be some exit pumps. I don't know what it's going to look like. People say, oh, bullish unlock, possibly. I think that the regime is quite a bit different, you know, these days now. But I don't see any personal reason for you to buy this chart. You can trade it. It is still a liquid coin, but you can still see clear lower highs and lower lows across the board. So you betting on this basically is saying that you believe that the investor unlocks will not have any impact on price when they're up like a lot of fucking money. And yeah, it just seems unlikely, you know, for them to not take profit. But who knows, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like this will be a bullish like unlock. Maybe this is just going to go up and it's going to defy everyone's expectations. Totally possible. Aave has been one of the strongest coins overall. I was waiting for 112, it never came. With Trump's DeFi project, it had some Aave benefits. Hence why you saw a lot of volatility the last few days. But overall, like I think that people just think that Aave is a good coin. We could actually, I've seen a lot of thought pieces on this in terms of return to value, where people are considering buying coins that actually have real value, meaning coins like Aave. All the DeFi primitives are forked from Aave, you know, or Comp, or, you know, these other big DeFi projects, or Uniswap. And they're still having millions of dollars or billions of dollars of TVL. And the charts themselves have also been good too. This one's chopped around for over 2 years, 800 days before having a big move up. I always said I'd just wait until this actually had a true move up. And Aave still looks pretty good in my opinion. Oopsies. As I said, chopping between this kind of 0.382 level, all the EMAs all like lining up pretty strongly. Looks really good if you ask me. Do I think it's a buy here? Probably not. It's resistance. But it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this kind of float up to like 150, pull back, and then kind of go up again. Pretty common to see something like that. So would just personally stay patient. Looking to buy dips though. Finally, this is one of the best charts in my opinion in crypto was HNT. I don't know what's going on, like, and it's chewing through all this high volume area right around, you know, established. You can see in the volume profile like lots and lots of volume transacted within this 650 to 750 area. But I still think this is one of the strongest charts in crypto. I think it's only a matter of time before it breaks up into this next zone of this $8 to $10 range. DPIN is still one of the best kind of narratives out there. And I was in this chart too. I was in this coin before on like mid fives or something, like on these big moves up. I've since exited. It still has a little bit too low of liquidity for my liking, but it's still, in my opinion, one of the better buy and holds you can have in terms of swing trades. Definitely think that, one of these days it's going to have a big candle up, and then it's going to kind of enter this next liquidity zone of 8 to 10. But just wanted to highlight HNT. I think it's a good coin. Don't have a position, but did make money before. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for the support, and talk to you soon.